Have you ever stopped to wonder about the invisible threads that connect us all? We walk through life, thinking we are alone in our struggles. But what if for a single, tiny act of mercy, a small note worth only 500 rupees, could travel through time and return to save your life 20 years later? Today, I am not here to tell you a fairy tale. I am here to tell you a story about the raw, beautiful reality of human connection. This is the story of Rohit, a boy who stood in the ashes of his own life, a boy who lost his mother, a boy who watched his father's strength turn into silence. But he never lost the one thing that costs nothing yet changes everything. Please sit back, breathe, and listen with your heart. Because by the end of this story you will realize that you might be holding that 500 rupees someone else desperately needs today. The story begins in a small, dusty village where the wind carries the scent of coal and sweat. When Rohit was only 6 years old, the light in his house went out. His mother passed away, leaving behind a grieving husband and a confused child. His father, a giant of a man, worked in the local steel factory. His hands were calloused, his skin stained with soot. But his heart was pure gold. He earned just enough to buy a handful of rice and a few wilted vegetables. Every night, under the dim light of a kerosene lamp, the father would pull Rohit close and whisper into the darkness, "My son, look at these hands. They are rough because I didn't have a choice. But you will have a choice. You must become a doctor. You will heal the world. So no child has to lose their mother the way you did." Rohit didn't understand everything, but he understood the sacrifice. He watched his father skip dinner, claiming he wasn't hungry, just so Rohit could have a second helping of bread. By the time he was 13, Rohit was no longer a child. He was a soldier fighting for his father's dream. Life was hard, but they were happy. Until the day the machine screamed. It was a Tuesday, a day like any other. But in a split second, a heavy iron girder snapped and fell. It crushed the very hands that had carried Rohit since he was a baby. The hospital was cold. The smell of antiseptic was the smell of fear. To save his life, the surgeons had to remove both of his father's arms. The giant was broken. When he returned home, the silence was deafening. His father sat by the window for hours staring at his empty sleeves. He didn't eat. He didn't speak. The man who had always been the protector was now helpless. One night, Rohit found him crying in the dark. "I am a burden, Rohit," his father sobbed. "I lost your mother and now I have lost the power to give you a future. My dream, it's gone." Rohit knelt beside him, pressing his forehead against his father's shoulder. "No, father," he whispered, his voice shaking but firm. "Your hands may be gone, but your dream is in my heart. I will be your hands. I will be your strength. I promise you. I will wear that white coat. Nothing in this world will stop me." To keep the dream alive, Rohit became a salesman of small things. Every day after school and all day on weekends, he carried a heavy bag of cheap soap, walking from one village to another. "Sir, would you like to buy a bar of soap? It's very good for the skin." "Madam, please just one? It's only 10 rupees. Most people slammed the door. Some yelled at him for being a beggar. Others simply didn't see him at all. But the deadline for the medical entrance exam was approaching. He needed 500 more rupees to pay the registration fee. 500 rupees. A mountain he couldn't climb. It was a stormy evening. The rain was freezing and Rohit's shoes were falling apart. He had knocked on 47 doors that day. 47 rejections. His stomach was cramping from hunger and his spirit was fading. he stood before the 48th house, a small, modest cottage with a warm yellow light in the window. His hand trembled as he raised it to knock. If they say no, he thought, I will stop. Maybe the world is right. Maybe. Poor boys aren't meant to be doctors. The door opened. An elderly woman with silver hair and eyes as deep as the sea looked at him. She didn't see a salesman. She saw a child shivering on the verge of collapse. Come in, child, she said. Her voice like a warm blanket. She didn't ask for soap. She sat him down, gave him a bowl of hot soup and some sweet biscuits. For a moment, Rohit forgot he was a seller. He felt like a son again. Why are you out in this storm? She asked gently. Rohit told her. He told her about the factory, about his father's missing hands, and about the 500 rupees that stood between him and his destiny. The woman went to a small wooden box. She took out a crisp, folded 500 rupee note. She pressed it into Rohit's wet hands. I cannot take this, Rohit stammered. I haven't sold you enough soap. The woman smiled, a sad, beautiful smile. Think of it as a seed, Rohit. Years ago, I was lost and someone gave me a seed. Now it's my turn to plant one in you. Go. Become the man your father dreamed of. Rohit cried. He didn't just cry for the money. He cried because for the first time in years, he felt that the world was on his side. 20 years passed. The boy who sold soap was gone. In his place stood Dr. Rohit, one of the most respected surgeons in the city. His father, though old and frail, lived in a house filled with sunlight, proudly watching his son save lives every single day. One morning, a charity case was brought in. An old woman, frail, barely breathing. She had advanced tuberculosis and no family to claim her. The hospital staff was hesitant. Sir, she has no insurance. No money. The surgery is too complex. Dr. Rohit looked at the patient's face. Time had added many wrinkles, and the silver hair was now white. But the eyes, those deep, sea blue eyes, were the same. Prepare the theatre, Dr. Rohit commanded. But sir, the costs? I will pay for everything, he said. This patient is my priority. For weeks, Dr. Rohit stayed by her bed. He didn't just operate, he cared for her as if she were his own mother. Slowly the color returned to her cheeks. The day she was ready to go home, she asked for the bill. She was terrified, knowing she could never afford the life-saving surgery. The nurse handed her a small envelope. Inside there was no bill. There was only a single crisp 500 rupee note and a handwritten letter. It read, "Your bill was paid 20 years ago in the middle of a storm. It was paid with kindness and a bowl of hot soup. The seed you planted has grown into a forest. Today, I am not just your doctor. I am the boy you believed in. The 500 rupees are finally back home." The old woman looked up and saw Dr. Rohit standing in the doorway. They didn't need words. They embraced, and the room was filled with the sound of souls recognizing each other. You see, my friends, the universe has a way of balancing the scales. When you give without expecting anything in return, you are not losing anything. You are simply investing in a miracle that will find you when you need it most. Life will try to break you. It will take your hands. It will take your loved ones. It will leave you in the rain. But if you hold on to hope, and if you choose to be kind, even when you have nothing, the world will change for you. So today, I ask you, who can you be kind to? Whose 500 rupee debt can you pay? Because kindness is the only thing that grows the more you give it away. Never give up. Never stop caring. And remember, the circle is always closing.